this thing may fail. So I think we'll work on that, and we'll ensure that perhaps the Albert members in the regions will be giving enough copies of the SIG policies so that they will sensitize their members in the regions, because their understanding of the SIG is very, very paramount. It's paramount. As you know, Madam Zeno Jame said, the extension, among other things, the extension of the SIG to the ECD. Of course, this is welcome. If the government and if the bank can actually house it, why not? But then, hence, this is the first year of implementation. Actually, I think the grants have just been paid to the school accounts this year, and let's see how it goes during the first term. The first time, second time, third time, and this year, I will have lessons to learn. We'll have more lessons to learn by the end of the academic year. And by then, I think we'll try to adjust and see, okay, what we need to include or do. And I think by then, we'll be able to see whether, depending on the first year of implementation, we'll see whether we're able to actually go to the ECD and how to adjust when going to the upper basic. Because next year, as rightly said, we are going to the upper basic, whose school fees will be, the grant will be $575. And as Jerry had adequately said, I don't need to say on that again. On Alaji Esa. Alaji Esa has talked about studies. Yes, see, the issue why we are saying no to the studies is because of the commercialization issue. If the teacher has not built any classroom, has not built any school, okay, and then wants to conduct studies in the school and charging children, how fair is that to the child? How fair is that to the parent? So, as a way of drawing the line and saying no exclusion, if the schools can conduct studies free of, of course we know the importance of studies, and I think it has been adequately addressed here.
Yes.
So if the schools want to address it, conduct studies, either they do it free of charge, or they leave it entirely in the hands of the parents, who will charge themselves and come up with a fee, and they will control those funds, and they will pay the teachers, and exclude the school authorities from it, and they can do it. They can entirely do that. That's acceptable. Okay, I think you also talked about another issue, which is the implementation. But of course, we say I must add that the parents' inability to pay should not deter the child from attending studies. The policy is no exclusion. We must understand it. Yes, exactly. You talked about another issue, which is we've also talked about these are the issues of implementation, of course, and I think by the end of the year we'll see what lessons to learn so that we can improve.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just come in here. A typical example has to do with the upper basic sector, which is due in 2014.
Yes.
Madam Jame rightly said that parents who could not afford to pay the fees for their kids this year could allow their children to repeat, and government would take care of that next academic year. But it didn't stop there. It will only take care of 4% of the repeaters, which is relative. One, we are reducing the spaces for the incoming grade A students, and three, overstretching the SIG for that matter, because 4% is relative. 4% for Kabavida or 4% for St. Teresa's, you cannot compare that with 4% of a school in the willies. Yeah, yes. So what we are trying to say here is that I would definitely love to see a national task team charged with the responsibility of reviewing the scheme and then monitoring the implementation strategies and coming up with recommendations as to how we can confront some of those emerging issues to adequately prepare for the upper basic and the SSS SIG. We're talking about SIG policy. What we have are guidelines that we develop, of course in line with our agreements with the World Bank. World Bank is government, and the government of the Gambia is here for the people. So what we are simply saying is, yes, we agree, but can't we do it systematically and strategically to ensure that it's a win-win situation for both the implementing agents, the beneficiaries, and the stakeholders? That's all that we're talking about as a union.
Yeah, point taken. Let me just add. address that. And you see, Mr. Saul is talking about implementation issues when the thing has not yet been implemented. Let's use these guidelines and see what is happening. Let's use these guidelines and see what we can learn by the end of the year. But I mean, right now, the ministry has just paid monies to those accounts. And I think the school has not even drawn monies from those accounts because they have to develop the school improvement plans, send them to the regions will review those school improvement plans, and then they will give approval or give feedback, and then based on that, the schools will use those feedback to draw funds from those accounts for the first quintal, for the first tranche. So right now, let's have no fear. Let's just take it in good faith and just see how it goes. By the end of the year, we'll have known what we can learn from.
Let me just comment here. If you say it is not implemented, I think we are contradicting ourselves. We've gone to a point of even on the verge of meeting out disciplinary actions against head teachers that you found wanting just recently. So look, you see, I said for the Gambia home, this is our own country, this is our property.
Exactly.
We are all bona fide citizens of this country, and the SIG is, yes, the ministry has a moral duty to implement it, but this is about the Gambia. What we are saying, I think, simply saying yes, let's walk around it, could be a very simple way of going about it. We are not disagreeing with the principle. I have said that repeatedly. Okay. It is perfect. In fact, let me take Bundung School as an example, where I serve as the school management committee chair. We have over 4,300 students in Bundung, and we are expecting nothing less than $100,000 this term. You understand? Which we could not have got for the past 5 years. Good. So it has come to even provide an immediate support for schools to ensure that effective teaching and learning, or proper or better learner outcome, you know, is ensured. Exactly. So the SIG is there to solve the problems. But the point we drew the line is what we are worried about. And if the implementing agents, I said last week, are seen as not being reasonable, are seen as being responsible for the problem, let's look at the study. The study has been here since time immemorial. We all condone it. We are all responsible. So why must we criminalize the teachers for the act? So let's take responsibility and confront the challenges. This is what we are talking about. And apart from that, we are in line with every other principle as far as the SIG is concerned.
Mrs. Yame, are you in line with Mr. So's opinion?
The sensitization is still ongoing because on the task force, you have the chairperson of Al-Bash, which is the Association of Heads of Lower Basic Schools, and the Al-Bash, they've got coordinators in all the regions in the Gambia. The same thing with the Upper Conference of Upper Basics. Conference of Upper Basics, Heads of Upper Basics. They also have got coordinators in all divisions in the Gambia, and their function, their duty is to go back and hold workshops and sensitize other heads who were not fortunate enough to be members of the task team. The task team has also come on the TV. They have gone in the regional radio stations, and I'm sure now these school improvement grants is a household name. Every person in the Gambia, every mother, every child knows about the school improvement grants, and every person knows that, especially in the lower basic school, they are not supposed to pay anything. So the question of criminalizing teachers, look, I'm a teacher, yes, and I know where Esaso is coming from. He's an activist, he's a teacher unionist, and he's quite right. He should really feel, if his teachers are threatened, he should feel that way. And I think he's going in the right track, really.
Yes, stop, sir.
Yes, like I was saying, I think on our end it just remains. You know, we welcome the idea because looking into it, you know, is getting more of students, you know, to school, more of people into the school. They try to discourage the form of exclusion in the LBS. But like we've said, our issue still remains because there are clarities that are still needed. Honestly, there are clarities needed because when we went to up-country, Region 3 and Region 4, when we approach certain communities, certain parents, they are appreciative of the move. But again, there is something that they add to it. Like in Mandinka, because that was a Mandinka community we went to, Iko saying, study Manyantakake. Because this is just the information, this is how some people are understanding it, that the government is saying no studies, full stop. And I think this is not the message. The message is that the school must not coordinate the conduct of the studies. The students must not use the money, take